Today we're going to be talking about functions and variables. In math, when you talk about graphing and functions, there are two types of variables. You've got your dependent variables and your independent variables. The value of the dependent variable is determined by your independent variable. And you've probably seen this in science before, especially when we're talking about graphing independent and dependent variables. Our x-axis represents our independent variable, and that goes along the bottom. Our y-axis represents our dependent variable. Our dependent variable goes along the y-axis. And remember, the y-axis, the dependent variable, is going to change depending on our independent variable. So let's look at a situation and relate this to functions now. Okay, we see these cupcakes at the top. They are $3 each. So when we're talking about functions, you might hear something said that says something like, the total cost of our cupcakes depends on how many cupcakes you buy. Okay, so if you buy one cupcake, it's going to be $3. If you buy two cupcakes, it'll be $6. So your total cost depends on the number of cupcakes you buy. You can also read it as the total cost is a function of how many cupcakes you buy. Almost the exact same thing, but just changing out the words depends on to is a function of. Okay? So again, let's relate this to the graph that we have on the right. The number of cupcakes is our independent variable. Okay? Our independent variable is how many cupcakes we buy. The dependent variable, the thing that depends on that, is the total cost. The total cost is a dependent variable because the cost is going to change depending on how many cupcakes I buy. So you can see your graph, number of cupcakes would go along the bottom as our independent variable. Our total cost goes up the side as our dependent variable. So let's actually make a table and create a graph using these two variables. So we said our number of cupcakes is our independent variable. So we're going to write number of cupcakes down along the bottom, the x-axis of my graph. And my dependent variable is going to be my total cost. So we've got our labels, we need a scale, some numbers here. So I'm going to number my independent variable. I'm going to count by ones, and I'm going to count using whole numbers because we're talking about whole cupcakes. And I'm just going to fill in my graph. You guys can do the same. There we go. And then going up this side, I'm going to count a little bit differently, okay, for my total cost in dollars here. Instead of counting by ones, I know that each cupcake costs $3. So I'm going to label this up the side, counting by $3, because it'll make it easier for me to graph later on if I'm counting in the same scale as what my cupcakes is. All right, so now it's time for us to use our table, create our table, and then use the values of my table to create my graph. So if I buy 0 cupcakes, I pay $0. That's easy, 0, 0. So I'm going to start at 0, 0, put a dot on my graph. Think about it. Each cupcake costs $3. So if I buy one cupcake, my total cost is going to be $3. So on my graph, I'm going to go over to 1 on the bottom, up to $3 on the side. One cupcake is $3. If I buy 2 cupcakes, the total cost there is $6. So again, go to 2 on the bottom, up to $6 on the side, and we can keep going. Take a minute, pause the video, and then when you're ready and you've got your graph and your table completed, you can start the video up again. So 3 cupcakes is $9. 4 cupcakes is $12. 5 cupcakes is $15. 6 cupcakes is $18. And we'll do one more set here. We'll do 7 cupcakes is $21. So hopefully you can see that the cost is depending on how many cupcakes we buy. Okay, take a minute, complete the on your own problems down at the bottom now. These are a little different. You're not creating a graph or a table on your own. You're going to underline the dependent variable, circle the independent variable, and then label the graphs down there. So remember, underline dependent, circle independent, label the graphs.